Hello students, welcome to all of you. Today in this class we are going to read section 3 of the chapter The Hour of Truth. Okay, in the previous class we have read section 1 and 2. But before starting section 3, let us focus on the theme of section 1 and 2. So here this is an one act play, and as I have told you in the previous class, these are the characters. Some new characters name I also have mentioned. Sir Robert Baldwin, Martha, wife of Robert Baldwin, John, his son, Evie, his daughter. Mr. Marshall is the person who is working in the Third National. Donovan is the assistant cashier in the bank where Robert Baldwin was working. John Gresham is the banker. Okay, John Gresham is the CEO of the bank where Robert Baldwin was working and Donovan was also working. Understood it? So, these are the characters in this one act play. Now, let us read what was the theme. The theme was John Gresham has done something wrong. That is why there was a fallout in the bank and it is being seized and he is being arrested by the police, and the next day he is going to be in the trials. But the situation is that here Robert Baldwin is the single witness against John Gresham, because according to people and according to media reports, if anyone is having any knowledge on John Gresham and his work, it can be only Robert Baldwin. But here, while beginning of section 1, it is mentioned that Robert Baldwin had been to meet John Gresham because he was being called by this person, and he went to meet there. He talked with him, he returned home, and when he returned home, his wife, son, daughter all are asking what's the reason, why did he call you? Then Robert Baldwin is disclosing a secret that John Gresham called him in order to give him bribe. And what is the bribe? The bribe is $100,000 in order to speak truth, but a modified truth. What is the modified truth? Robert Baldwin has to speak, he can't remember. Okay, that's why he is being offered $100,000 by John Gresham. Okay, now let us go to section 3. So, what is written? John, they are going to punish Gresham another day. Baldwin, I am afraid so. John, what for? Baldwin, misappropriating the funds of the public. John, interpreting, oh, I know that, but what crime has he committed? Look, when all the family members did hear that John Gresham has offered him $100,000, Martha, John, Evie, they all are surprised. They were also having the eagerness to get the money at any cost. That's why now they are to some extent pressurizing Robert Baldwin to speak that I don't know, I can't remember. Now, John is speaking to his father that the next day they are going to put him in the trial. Then Baldwin speaking, yes, but John is asking what's the crime? Baldwin is speaking, that is the crime, John. Evie, but nobody loses anything by it. Baldwin, it's a crime nevertheless, John, and they are going to punish him for it. Baldwin, they can't let him go, John, he is too conspicuous. John, do you think that's right, Dad? Baldwin, my opinion doesn't matter, John, but what do you think? Then all are thinking on the same thing, because listen, all have become money oriented by the time. Right now John is speaking to his dad, Dad, do you think that it's right? The father is speaking, I don't know. My opinion is not matter, John, but what do you think? Baldwin, I think I'm sorry for John Gresham, terribly sorry, John. It's nothing but a technically, Dad, nobody loses a cent. It's rather hard on Gresham, I say. Baldwin, yes, John. Evie, timidly, means shyly, would it be such an awful thing, father, if you let him off? Baldwin, smiling, I wish I could, Evie, but I am not the judge. Evie, no, but Baldwin, but what? Evie, you are the only witness against him. Baldwin, Evie, John, says right, Dad. Baldwin, you too, John? John, it's going to be a nasty mess if they put John Gresham in gaol with their own son named after him. It's going to be pleasant for me, John Gresham. Baldwin, right now listen. It is mentioned the son, the daughter to some extent they are forcing Robert Baldwin to speak that he has an attack of poor memory. That's why they are asking him again and again that are the people going to lose some money? And now John is speaking, it's a sad thing that you named your son after his name and now that man is going to be in the jail. Martha, Robert, I am not sure I understand what you said before. What did Mr. Gresham want you to do for him? Baldwin, get him off tomorrow. Martha, you could do that. Baldwin, yes. Martha, how? Then Martha is asking, but Robert, I can't understand what John Gresham want you to do for him tomorrow. Then Baldwin is speaking that I will get him off, means I will take him out of the jail. Martha is asking, can you do it? Baldwin is speaking, yes I can. How? Baldwin is speaking by answering, I don't remember. When they ask me dangerous questions, Martha, and you do remember? Baldwin, yes, nearly everything. John, no matter what they ask you, Baldwin, I can always refresh my memory. You see, I have notes. John, but without those notes, you would not remember. Understood it? So when Martha is asking her husband that what you have to speak, Baldwin is speaking that I have to speak that I don't remember it. They can't prove that I can remember. Then John is speaking, Dad, you do remember. Then the father is speaking, yes, I keep the note. Then John is speaking, it means without the note, you can do nothing. John, without answering, as a matter of fact, you will have to rely on your notes nearly altogether, won't you? Baldwin, everybody else does the same thing. Then it won't be far from the truth if you say I don't remember. Martha, I don't see that Mr. Gresham is asking so much of you. Baldwin, Martha, Robert. Martha, Robert, I am as honorable as you are. Baldwin, that goes without saying, Martha. Then the wife is speaking that, my dear husband, Mr. Gresham is not asking too much from you. Just 3 words. Then Baldwin is speaking, Martha, you are also speaking like this. Then Martha is speaking, I am also as honorable as you. Then Baldwin is speaking, that I know. Martha is speaking, it doesn't seem right to me to send an old friend to gaol. Now, don't interrupt me. I have been thinking the day John was christened, means name, when Mr. Gresham stood sponsor for him, how proud we were, and when we came home from the church you said, do you remember what you said, Robert? Then Martha is speaking that when our son had taken birth, Mr. Gresham was the one who named him. And when we were returning home, what did you say? Baldwin, no, what was it? Martha, you said, Martha, may our son always live up to the name which we have given to him. Do you remember that? Means here Martha is speaking that the day when their son has taken birth, they named him John Gresham Baldwin. And according to Robert Baldwin, his son will live up to John Gresham. Means just will maintain the dignity, maintain the fame that John Gresham is maintaining. Baldwin, yes, dimly. Then Baldwin is speaking, yes, I can remember. John, only dimly, that. Baldwin, what do you mean, John? Martha, giving John no opportunity to answer. It would be said, very sad if the name of John Gresham, our son's name, should come to grief through you, Robert. Then Martha is speaking that if it's a very sad thing if our son's name is going to come like this, that is also because of you. Baldwin, Martha, you are telling me to accept the bribe money that John Gresham offered me? Abby, why do you call it a bribe money, father? Baldwin, why indeed? Gresham had a prettier name for it. He said that he had underpaid me all these years. You know, I was getting only 5,000 a year when the crash came. So, when Abby is also speaking on the money, Baldwin is speaking that this is the bribe money because it is being accepted by Mr. Gresham that he was underpaying me. Baldwin, he said 100,000 represented the difference between what he had said, paid me, and what I had actually been worth through him. Martha, that's no less than true, Robert. You have worked for him very faithfully. Baldwin, he said that if he had paid me what he should have, I would have put by more than 100,000 by now. Then Baldwin is speaking that he said if he had paid me what he should have, means if he had been paid properly, then he would have made more money. John, that's no. Isn't it that? Baldwin, who knows? I never asked him to raise my salary when he raised. Then Baldwin is speaking that I never asked him to raise my salary. When he did it, it was because of his own desire. A.B. If you go on stand tomorrow, Baldwin, yes. Avi, did they put John Gresham in goal? What will people say? Baldwin, they will say, I have done my duty, Avi, no more and no less. Avi, will they? Baldwin, why? What should they say? Avi, I don't think so, of course, but other people might say that you had turned traitor to your best friend. Baldwin, you don't mean that, Avi. Avi, when they find out that they have not lost any money, when John Gresham tells them that he will pay back every cent, then won't want him to go to goal, they will feel sorry for him. Then Avi is speaking that if because of you tomorrow John Gresham is going to be in the jail, then people will call you a traitor, because they will speak that an old friend has turned out to be an enemy, and apart from this no one is going to lose a single person. Then why you are doing all these things? You just save the man. It is indirectly spoken by Avi. Baldwin, yes, I believe that, I hope so, John. And they won't feel too kind disposed towards the man who helps out him in goal, Martha. And John is speaking that then definitely people will not like the person because of whom John Gresham has been in the jail. And Martha, you will say you went back to an old friend, Robert. John, when you pull out your notes in court, be sure of sending him to goal. Avi, and Mr. Gresham has not done anything really wrong. John, it's technically that's what it is. Nobody loses a cent. Nobody wants to see him punished. Avi, except you, father. Then here the wife is also speaking the same thing. The son is also speaking the same thing. And the daughter is also speaking that nobody wants to send him to the jail except you, father. Who is speaking? Avi is speaking like this. And John, and you are willing to jail the man after whom you named your son. Then John is also doing little bit emotional blackmailing, and he is speaking that you want to send that person to the jail by whose name you have named your son. Martha, I believe in being merciful, Robert. Baldwin, merciful. Then Martha is speaking that, Robert, I want that you should be merciful. Then Baldwin is speaking what? Merciful. Martha, Mr. Gresham has always been very good to you. And what are you going to do now, Robert? And Mr. Gresham was always good to you, but right now what you are going to do? Baldwin, what do you mean? Martha, you have been out of work since the bank closed. Baldwin, struggling his shoulder, oh, I will find a position. Martha, shaking her head, at your age? Baldwin, it's the man that counts. Martha, yes, you said that a month ago. John, I heard it from Donovan. Baldwin, what did you hear? John, he is gone with the Third National, you know. Baldwin, he is helping with the reorganization. John, they would not take Stalex on there. Baldwin, their staff was full. They could not very well offer me a position as a clerk. So here there is a conversation in between Baldwin, Martha and John, that John has heard from Donovan, who had left this bank and had been to the Third National to work. Means Donovan previously he was working as an assistant cashier, now is working in the Third National, and according to him there is no space and they can't even give the post of a clerk to Mr. Gresham. Okay, did you understand this much? So here this portion is all about the changing of mood of the family members when they heard about $100,000, how their attitude towards Mr. Baldwin changed and how there was sympathy in their heart for John Gresham. Okay, thank you. So as I told you that Robert Baldwin is being called by John Gresham, and John Gresham is going to be in the trials because he knows everything regarding the fallout of the bank. So in the meantime, when it is mentioned that Robert Baldwin is being called by John Gresham, all the family members, Martha, John, Avi, they all are speaking that John Gresham should go to jail. But when they heard that John Gresham is going to give him $100,000, they became quite greedy. And now they started speaking that you have a long friendship with Mr. Gresham, you should not send him to jail, etc., etc. So all these things have taken place here only. Next, what is mentioned, then Martha is speaking that what are you going to do now? And Mr. Gresham has been very good to you. Baldwin, what do you mean? Martha, you have been out of work since the bank closed. Baldwin, oh, I will find a position. Martha, shaking her head, at your age? Baldwin, is the man that counts. Martha S. You said that a month ago. So here what is mentioned? It is mentioned by Martha, his wife, that Baldwin is not having any work since the bank has been closed. And right now, Baldwin is speaking that he will find out a good job, but Martha is speaking that practically it is not possible to find out a job at this age. In the meantime, John is speaking, I heard from Donovan, and Donovan, who is Donovan? The assistant cashier who had got married with the hope that now his future is settled with the bank of Mr. John Gresham. I have heard from Donovan. Baldwin, quickly, what did you hear? John, he is gone to the Third National, you know. Baldwin, yes, he is helping with the organization. John, they would not take Starlix on there. Baldwin, their staff was full, they could not very well offer me a position as a clerk. So here, Baldwin is speaking that he has been to the Third National. And here, John Gresham is the banker and Mr. Marshall is the member of Third National. And Third National, as I told you, it is a bank that regulates all other banks, as it is mentioned here. So all other people, they had been there, and now that place is also filled and there is no position that can be offered to Mr. Baldwin. Understood? And John, that was what they told you, Baldwin, wasn't it true? John, Mr. Marshall said he would not employ a man who was just as guilty as John Gresham. Then John is speaking that no, you don't know the truth. The truth is, they will not appoint a person who is as guilty as Mr. Gresham. Did you understand? Mr. Marshall, who is from the Third National, he is speaking. Look, here, let me clear it to you. Robert and John, they are talking that Robert Baldwin is talking to his son John, and John is speaking to his father that Donovan had joined the Third National. Then Robert Baldwin is also expecting to get a job at the Third National, but he is speaking that there is no space, there is no vacancy. But John is speaking, no, this is not true, there is no vacancy, this point is wrong. But the fact is that they don't want to employ you because they think that you are as guilty as John Gresham. Did you understand? So this is the thing. And here Baldwin, but I am not. John, who knows it? Baldwin, everybody will tomorrow. John, will they believe you or will they think you are trying to save your own skin? Baldwin, I found out only a day before the smash. John, who will believe that? Baldwin, they will have to. Then Baldwin is speaking that is, no one is having the idea that I am not the guilty one, but tomorrow everyone will know about it. Then John is speaking, who will trust your words? Then Baldwin speaking, they have to trust it because I am not a guilty person. And John, how will you make them? I am afraid you will find that against you wherever you go. Dad, you are testifying against John Gresham won't make things any better. If you ever get another job, it will be with him. This is a startling idea to Baldwin, who shows his surprise. If Gresham doesn't go to goal, he will start in business again, won't he? And he can't offer you anything less than a partnership. Then what is John speaking? John is speaking that no one is going to offer you a job, but if Mr. Gresham is not proved guilty, then definitely he will start his own business. And if you are joining hands with him, then definitely you will be offered the job of partnership, means you will be the partner in his business. Baldwin, a partnership, John, with meaning with the 100,000 capital you could put in the business, Dad. Baldwin, John, now come to the point. Baldwin is speaking, partner, how? It means Baldwin is speaking that how is it possible? I don't have the funds, then how can I get it? Then John is speaking with the $100,000, you can put it in the business. It means directly John is speaking to his father to accept the money which is being offered to him by John Gresham and to speak in the trial that I can't remember. Understood the point? It means previously John was getting angry and he was speaking that the person should go to hell. But right now when he heard regarding the money, the amount of money, he started salivating and he is forcing his father to accept the money so that he can start a business of his own. And it is mentioned, John, of course the capital doesn't matter. He will owe you quite a debt of gratitude basis. There is a pause and then John is also speaking, money is not important. In gratitude he also will give you the partnership. Martha, 100,000 would mean a great deal to us, Robert, if you don't find a position Soon John will have to support us. John, on $30 a week, Dad. Abby, that won't go very far. Martha, it's not fair to John. John angrily, oh, don't bother about me. Then all are means there is a what we say conversation in the family and all are having the eye on $100,000. Then John is getting irritated because his father is not at all listening to the family members and speaking, don't bother on me. Means he is frustrated, he is speaking, he means his intention was why father is not accepting the money which is being offered to him by Gresham. John, look here, Dad, you have said nothing to the papers. If you say nothing more tomorrow, what does it amount to? But sticking to your friend is the square thing to do. He would do so much for you. And then John is speaking to his father. Father, till now you have spoken nothing to the paper. Then why not to stick to your friend? Baldwin looks appealingly from one face to another. They are averted. Then you want me to take this money? Say yes, one of you, or no. I could not go into partnership with Gresham. Martha, why not? Promptly, smartly speaking, why not? Baldwin, people would not trust him. John, then he could go into business with someone else. Dad, 100,000 is a lot of money. Then Baldwin is asking directly that what you want? Do you want that I should accept the money? Speak me yes or no. Means directly Baldwin is asking to the family members that what is their opinion. Then John is speaking, with that much of money you can have business partner. And then Baldwin is speaking that, but no one trusts Gresham anymore. Then John is speaking, you can start it with someone else. $100,000 is a great money. Understood it? It means John is also focusing that his father should accept the money. Baldwin walks to the window, looks out. God knows, I never thought this day would come. I know, no matter how you try to excuse it, I know that if I take this money, I do a dishonorable thing. And you know, you, all of you, come admit it. Then Baldwin is pointing out to the family members that till today I have done nothing wrong. But if right now I am going to accept the money, it will be a dishonorable thing. And you know, means he is referring to three of the family members. John, nobody will have ever heard of it. Baldwin, but among ourselves. Then John is speaking, but no one knows about it. Then Baldwin speaking, but we know it. Whatever we are to the world, let us be honest with each other for four of us. Well, his glance travels from John to Abby, whose head is bowed, from her to his wife, who is apparently busy with her knitting. He raises Martha's head, looks into the eyes, her suggests, Sam's, lies, hypocrites, thief, and no, I know better than any of you. We have seen our souls naked, and they stink to Almighty heaven. Well, why don't you answer me? Then Baldwin is looking at his daughter, and his daughter is just bowing down, and then looking at his wife, and his wife was busy knitting something. Then he is raising the head of his wife, then asking, why don't you answer? We have to go clear to our grave, and we can't cheat the Almighty. Martha, it's not wrong, Robert. Baldwin, it's not right. John, 100,000 is a lot of money, Dad. Baldwin, you can look into my eyes now, my son, can't you? Then Martha is speaking, but it doesn't matter. Then Baldwin is speaking, it matters. John is speaking, $100,000 is a great, huge amount of money. John, Dad, why did you refuse? Wasn't it because you were afraid of what we would say? Baldwin, after a long pause, yes, John, well, nobody will ever know it, Baldwin, except the four of us. Then here, the son is speaking that no one will have the idea on it that I have accepted $100,000. John, yes, father. Abruptly they separate. Abby weeps in silence. Martha, being less emotional, blows her nose noisily and fumes with her knitting. John, having nothing better to do, scowls out of the window, and Baldwin, near the fireplace, clenches and unclenches his hands. Someone's coming. Then all are busy, means their physical activities, means one is knitting, another one is means doing like this and or doing like this, and Abby was little bit crying. In the meantime, someone came to their house. Martha, raising her head, who is it? John, I can see. With sudden apprehension, it looks like Mr. Marshall. Then who has come? John is speaking that it looks like Mr. Marshall. Baldwin, Mr. Marshall, the doorbell rings. He goes to the window, commanding a view of the doorway. It is Mr. Marshall. Martha, the president of the Third National. So who is Mr. Marshall? Mr. Marshall is the president. He is the president of the Third National. Okay. So Baldwin is, what does he want here? Abby, shall I show him in, father? Baldwin says, by all means. Then Martha is speaking, what is his work here? Then Abby is speaking, father, shall I ask him to get into the house? Then Baldwin is speaking, yes, sure. Abby goes, then Abby goes out of the house. Martha crossing to him quickly, Robert, be careful of what you say. You are to go on the stand tomorrow. Then Martha is speaking, Robert, be careful whatever you are speaking, because tomorrow you have to go to the stand. You have to speak in the court. Baldwin, yes, I will look out. Martha, let him talk, say nothing at all. Abby re-enters, opening the door for Mr. Marshall. Mr. Marshall coming into the room very promptly. Well, spending the afternoon indoors. How are you, Mrs. Baldwin? She shakes hands cordially. And you, Baldwin? Martha, we are just going out. Come, Abby. Mr. Marshall, oh, you need not go on my account. You can hear what I have to say. He turns to the head of the family. Baldwin, if you feel like coming around to the Third National sometime this week, you will find a position waiting for you. Understood? So Mr. Marshall, when he entered to the house, is asking, means you people are enjoying home right now? All of you are at home? Then the wife is speaking, who? Martha is speaking, they are planning to go out. Then Mr. Marshall is speaking, I will not take your much time, but he is turning to Mr. Baldwin. He is looking at Mr. Baldwin and speaking to him, Mr. Baldwin, if you desire, you can come and you can join the Third National, and we will offer you a very good position which is suitable for your post, and all were amazed. Okay, look, what was John speaking beforehand? He was speaking that no one will, means Robert Baldwin will not get an appointment in the Third National, because people will trust that along with John Gresham, Robert Baldwin was also the culprit. But right now Mr. Marshall, who is the president of the Third National, he himself is offering a job to Mr. Baldwin in the Third National. Understood? It means something fishy is there. Baldwin, thunderstruck, you are surprised. Do you mean that, Mr. Marshall? Marshall, I would not say it if I didn't. He continues more seriously, I was in to see Mr. Gresham this afternoon. He told me about the offer he had made you, but he knew that no amount of money would make you do something you thought wrong. Baldwin, he paid you the supreme compliment. Rather than go to trial with you to testify against him, he confessed. Baldwin, confessed? Marshall told the whole story. I can only say to you what every man will be saying tomorrow, how highly I honor and respect your husband, how sincerely. Okay, so here what is Marshall speaking? Marshall is speaking that I had been to meet to Mr. Gresham, and he told me everything, that he had offered you $100,000, but he also told me that you denied it with the look of the eye. In the meantime, he is also speaking that instead of going to the trials, you will speak against him, which is a very difficult task for you. That's why he confessed. Then Mr. Marshall, he just turned to Martha, means he turned to Robert's wife and spoke to the lady that your husband is an honorable person, and I honor and respect the man highly, and he is also a sincere man. Martha, seizing his hand piteously, please, can't you see he is crying? The curtain falls slowly. Then Martha is holding the hands of her husband and speaking, please, can't you see that he is crying? Who is crying? Robert Baldwin is crying. So in the meantime, the curtain falls. Okay. Now listen. What is the theme? Let me tell you in short. Okay. This is a long story. Understood? Long one-act play. That's why it's quite wise to listen the story in nutshell. Look, there is a family, and who are the members of the family? Robert Baldwin, Martha, John, Evie. Okay, these are the family. This is a whole family. Understood? One day what happened? All the three people were waiting for Robert Baldwin, and where he had been? He had been to Mr. Gresham. And who is John Gresham? John Gresham is the chairman of a bank. The bank's name is not mentioned here, and there was a problem in the bank, and he is being punished. Punishment what? He has to go to the trials. There is a mess up in the bank. There is the fallout. That's why the person John Gresham is being arrested. And what is the witness against him? Robert Baldwin is the single witness against him, but Robert Baldwin is an honest person. So when Robert Baldwin went to meet John Gresham, all are surprised that why John Gresham is calling him to meet. So when Robert Baldwin returned home, he disclosed something, and what is it? Means before his disclosure of the secret, all the family members were speaking him against John Gresham. And what were they speaking? They are speaking that John Gresham should be punished, he should go to hell, etc. You should speak against the person. All these things are being spoken to Robert Baldwin. Understood? But when Robert Baldwin disclosed that John Gresham has offered him $100,000, all were stunned. All means who? Martha, John and Evie. And now they were going to turn their side. They started favoring John Gresham. Then John is speaking, Dad, you have named me before his name. So after his name, what type of means honor will be there for my name? And Martha and Evie, they are also speaking that if no one is going to lose some money, why not to speak in favor of, means not directly they are speaking, their intention was like that. Then John is also speaking that at this stage you will not get a job, even you will not get the job in Third National, because they are also thinking that you are also same culprit just like John Gresham. So no one is going to offer you a job. So why not to speak in favor of John Gresham, and when he will start a business, you can be his partner. But Robert Baldwin is speaking that how can I be his partner? No one will trust him. Then John is speaking that $100,000 is too much money. You can also start your own business. Understood the point? This is the point which is being spoken by John. So in the meantime, Robert Baldwin realized that his family members, they have changed the side. Now they are speaking in the tone of John Gresham. They are speaking that he should accept the money and he should speak in the court that I can't remember. These 3 words only. There is no need to speak the lie, but he only has to speak I can't remember. So in the meantime, Mr. Marshall is coming to his house, and all are surprised why Mr. Marshall has come. And Mr. Marshall, after his arrival, he is speaking to Robert Baldwin and also looking at Martha, his wife, and spoke that John Gresham has confessed his guilt, because John Gresham told Mr. Marshall everything regarding the money that he offered to Robert Baldwin, and John Gresham doesn't want that Robert Baldwin will stand against him and will speak against him, so that John Gresham will go to jail. That's why he confessed his own guilt, and tomorrow everyone will know that your husband is not a guilty one, he is an innocent person, and there is a nice place for him in our bank, it means in the Third National. And by listening it, always surprised. At the end, John Gresham is speaking to Martha that your husband is an honorable, most respectable and a sincere person. Okay, this is the story. And when the curtain falls, Mr. Robert Baldwin was crying and Martha was holding his hand. Okay, understood it? Thank you. Have a nice time.